Obviously Anthony Poindexter is a guy that people are throwing around as potentially an internal hire. So let's start there. When you look at Poindexter potentially being that replacement, how do you feel and what are some of your initial thoughts?
I mean, it makes sense. Like everyone's saying. I mean, you have a bona fide baller himself, a dog when he was playing.
Yeah.
Hey, college football Hall of Fame. I mean,
Long.
the resume speaks for itself. So I know the guys respect him and have respected him since he stepped on campus. And another part, I think he leads one of the strongest cores in this defense, the defensive back safeties. So I think that's going to be a big deal come next season. As you know, a lot of communication going on the back end between those guys, and we'll see who comes back. And I know the young Winston kid who'll definitely be back, who skyrocketed this season.
Yep.
Look for him to take another jump. And I think with Poindexter kind of running the ship, it's similar to what I saw with Coach Pry. When he took over as a linebackers coach, it kind of elevated the linebackers to be even more, take on that leadership role even more and kind of enhance their game. So if they can do that with the safeties who are already really good, and then that trickles down to the linebackers and the D line, the corners, Poindexter makes a lot of sense. Obviously, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of names out there. I've seen, Tom Allen from
Indiana, man. Yeah.
Indiana, Joe Harris Simiak, RU, Joe Rossi, Geoff Collins. There's a lot of names out there, but I like Poindexter. It makes a lot of sense in my mind.
Yeah, man. And Coach Poindexter, like you said, is a guy that everybody in that locker room respects. His college football career speaks for itself. I didn't actually know that Anthony Poindexter was as good as he said he was. You get a lot of coaches who make a lot of claims about who they were as athletes. Anthony Poindexter is not making any false claims. He was the real deal. But, I mean, like I said, his players respect him. He's a player's coach, but he knows his ball too. And I think another interesting portion that you got to kind of dissect a little bit here is the fact that I think Anthony Poindexter may also have an opportunity to be a head coach here soon. There are some rumors that he's already getting looks from different schools. You remember Virginia was going to hire him a couple years back. That was my senior year. So maybe, it's a good opportunity to elevate him to that coordinator spot before you lose him to a head coaching job one day, because it seems inevitable that it may happen. And you bring up another great point with the safety room. Brisker, Jair Brown. I mean, the room together is playing really well this year. So he's had a lot of success in that position. And I want to ask you, though, for the fans who maybe don't have the fullest context as to what a coaching hire looks like, do you have any expertise or information as to what that process for James Franklin, the Nittany Lions, might look like?
I wouldn't say I have any expertise, but just being around football for really my whole life. But, in this level and the next level, it's definitely, it's an interview process. I'm similar to, a regular job out here in the city or wherever it may be. It's an interview process. You come in, you show your stuff, you bring your confidence and everything like that. And then on the back end, as we know, sometimes it's about who you know and the relationships that you may have built along the way. That's a big deal. We talk about it in this industry, regardless of what it is. Whenever I speak to kids, relationships. We saw it with Coach Kotelnicki. I mean, Coach Franklin and him had a relationship for years now. And, it doesn't mean that they're out having beers, but when they talk ball, their mindsets are on the same kind of wavelength. So that makes sense. When you come in, you roll out your stuff. What do you see for this team, this defense, this offense? What are you going to bring? How are you going to bring it? Who are you going to kind of emphasize and things of that nature? So you got to kind of come in with the game plan and, see if they like it. They believe in it. They believe in you. They have to believe in the person more so than the scheme. And I think Coach Franklin and those guys will make the right decision. When it comes to defense, like you said, it's about that 1-2. So I'm not too worried.
Right.
As long as they inflict that confidence, instill that confidence in the guys that I already know they already have. So hopefully the coach leaving doesn't affect that. But as long as you bring that and then fly around, man, you can plays are there to be made.
They're there to be made. And it's not, let's not act like this is charity work, whoever gets the D coordinator job at Penn State. They've got a ton of talent coming back still, even with the guys who are going to go to the NFL.
Right.
The thing that was impressive about the group this year to me was that it was like the 2 to 3 deep was super impressive. And they looked like a bunch of NFL guys were on that defense who maybe weren't even starting. So I think they'll be fine. A lot of people are going to press the panic button until especially somebody gets named in that spot. But we knew this was coming. Manny Diaz is the head coach. And it was a pleasure to have him at Penn State while we did.